Hey, what is going on everyone? Jason here at Waddle, and welcome back to another advice video. And finally, we are going to be talking about 30 tips to absolutely crush your senioritis. If you guys can't tell already, I am not in my typical filming location, which is my bedroom, and instead, I am at this amazing school right here in which I will be attending next year in order to study biochemistry. The reason I'm currently at UCLA is because I am currently attending the orientation they have for the new freshmen. And I thought to just use this as a little way to inspire you guys to hopefully try your best your senior year, defeat senioritis. And if you've been working hard for the past 3 years, you can either be here in the #1 public university in the US or any other amazing college that's scattered throughout the United States too. But yeah, without further ado, here are the timestamps. So we have 3 sections as always, and let's just get right into the tips. This time it will be a very short section, but part 1 as always is academics. So tip number 1 is to take the SAT/ACT one more time if you feel like you can improve on your score. At the latest possible, I would suggest taking the October SAT of your senior year, simply as a last ditch effort if you haven't reached like the average score for like the college you want to go to. Or in fact, for some of you more ambitious people out there, try to aim for like the 75th percentile. Tip number 2, grades still matter. Yes, I know it's your senior year, it's your last year in high school, but like make sure you guys still have a somewhat strong priority of like academics. This year I will give you guys permission to like focus on something you are more interested about and put academics as possibly a second priority, but still being able to maintain like straight B's or whatever is very good. You just don't want to end up barely passing a lot of your classes or failing them, because they could really cost you big time when you apply to colleges, get in, but then get rescinded because of your poor grades and stuff. So definitely still, focus on school. Tip number 3, still maintain rigor in your classworks, but at the same time also let loose of the gas pedal a bit by taking an easier schedule. Obviously, you don't have to be as challenging as junior year. For example, in my senior year, instead of taking 6 APs, I took 3, which is actually really refreshing because I got used to taking such a high amount of APs. So taking 3 APs at my senior year, it was pretty easy in my opinion. But yeah, my suggestion for this is to take around the same number of APs as you did in your sophomore year. Tip number 4, make sure you still study for your AP exams. Now at this point you might have gotten into college already, and like for certain AP classes they won't take credit for it, but I still recommend you guys take and study for the AP tests. You never know what might happen in this college admission process like I did. And heck, you might get off the waitlist and go to a different school, which might actually take AP credits you normally wouldn't expect. So as always, try your best and hardest on every single AP exam you take. And the final tip for this quick academics part of the video, tip number 5, make sure to take some classes that you enjoy in your senior year. This is definitely something I wish I have done as a senior. I kind of pretty much only crammed like some APs that I haven't taken at my high school yet. But in reality, I probably should have taken like a regular class just for fun in which I'm interested in. Because after all, this is your final year in high school and the stakes are fairly low in this as long as you try at school. So definitely for this year, it is alright to take a class that's not an AP and instead take a subject that you might be interested in. Because who knows, you might find a new area of study in which you never thought you would be enjoying. Part 2, applying to college. The process might be really overwhelming, but trust me, by the end of like this entire process, you'll look back on it definitely with some great memories and some not so great ones. But hey, it's a huge part of senior year and I figure it's an important topic. The first thing you want to do is to finalize your college list. In my opinion, you should only apply to colleges you would actually consider going if they were the only one that took you, because why add more work to yourself and produce less polished essays for schools that you won't even go to. One thing I'll say about this process though is that at the same time you should still have a college in which it is your safety, in which you're willing to like bet your life on it that you'll get in. Even if you choose to go to community college over that safety school, just getting a college acceptance is a pretty huge moral boost in my opinion. Tip 2, try to start your college apps in the summer and work on it every day if you can. Because as soon as your senior year starts, your classes will pretty much still be at the same rate compared to before you started college apps. So being able to work on your college apps during the summer will really help out your application process. You will write better essays for sure. And because of those better essays, you will definitely get into colleges you might not even expect to get into. So tip number 3 is to send your ACT scores, SAT scores, SAT subject tests to all of the colleges that you are applying to. If you did poorly on any of these tests, I would strongly consider you guys to do scores select when sending them, in which you get to tell the college board which schools you want to send to which colleges. However, keep in mind that some of these colleges, Stanford, they don't allow score select, so you have to send them all of your scores, which if you made significant progress in like improving your score, I'm sure that's fine. Just don't have like a decrease in score. Tip number 4, ask your teachers in which you have built a connection with for letters of recommendation. I would strongly suggest getting 2 letter of recommendations, in which what I did is I got my letter of recommendations from my math teacher and my US history teacher, because my math teacher has known me since sophomore year and my US history teacher actually known me since my freshman year. Tip number 5, ask your counselor for a letter of recommendation, as well as discuss any future college plans with your counselor. Personally, I really like my high school counselor because she was able to help me throughout some of my tough times in high school. But besides that, she also was able to help me reduce like the amount of colleges on my college list. So yeah, if you were wondering why I didn't apply to like NYU or Vanderbilt, those colleges didn't make the cut, sadly. Tip number 6, check your high school transcripts to see if everything is correct and up to date. Personally, I didn't really see an issue, but I'm bringing this up because I know some students from my high school actually didn't receive credits for courses they took outside of class, like AP Chinese. So definitely before you request to send your transcript to schools, double check it yourself personally to see everything is on there. Tip number 7, attend college fairs and events within your area, or if a school representative comes to visit your local high school. But yeah, for this, of course, these aren't necessary, but I feel like the brochures definitely help me on my essays, so I figure it's pretty important to just go and talk to the representative, get a brochure, and just get to know about the school through an actual human being. Tip number 8 is to attend college workshops. Personally, for me, by attending these college workshops, I was able to make sure that everything for my Common App and my UC app, my extracurricular activities were also written down the way I wanted to. And just to make sure everything is correct and filled in. Definitely having a counselor there to help guide you through the setup process is important. Tip number 9, if applicable, work with your parents to talk about financial aid. Definitely going to college is very expensive, so you want to be able to talk to your parents about the monetary aspects of it. But yeah, doing this and going over the FAFSA with your parents certainly will be very helpful, because I'm sure they probably know more about like the tax system, whatever, every like financial aspect of college more than you. So being able to get their advice is pretty crucial in my opinion. Tip number 10, apply early decision only if possible and that is your dream school. If not, just apply early action whenever it is offered by a college. You guys probably already know this, but by doing early decision or early action, the acceptance rate is much higher than normal, like regular decision. It's also a really good way to help manage the amount of essays you have to complete and write, because the due dates will be different rather than all of the colleges being due near like Christmas and New Year's and stuff. So you'll be able to enjoy a holiday too. Tip number 11, community college is still okay. By going to community college, you are actually saving yourself a ton of money, and I will encourage you guys to go to community college if you didn't get into like any school you want to go to, or any school at all for that matter, but you still want to continue your education, which I still highly encourage everyone to do, because education to me is very important. And I might be weird because I find learning fun. So if you don't get in, there's always hope. You can still work hard at community college and be able to transfer into like a bunch of universities, including the one I'm going to. Tip number 12, proofread your essays and have someone else proofread for you. This is especially important because you don't want to make the mistake of accidentally copying and pasting the wrong university name and sending like your essay to them, because if you just mess up that one time, 100% you're gonna get rejected from that university. So who knows, always have either your counselor, your parents co-workers, heck, maybe even go to like your writing center and get like a writing teacher to review your essays. Make sure you spell check them and have them check for grammar. And yeah, by doing so, you might even be able to save word count, so therefore you can put even more information that will help you get into college. Tip number 13, do college interviews whenever possible. For me personally, I did every single college interview that was offered to me, and being realistic, I actually didn't get into much colleges that actually I did an interview with. But yeah, just doing college interviews is great practice for just talking to strangers, I think, and certainly it will help you get out of your comfort zone if that's something you want. Tip number 14, I wish I did this advice, and that is to continue to apply to more scholarships after you are done with your college applications. Don't be like me, because what I did is after college applications ended, I applied to one scholarship, didn't get it, so I gave up from applying. And just know the more college scholarships that you apply to, the more likely you are to win one, and therefore it can help you and your parents for being able to pay for your college education. And final tip I had for you guys for applying to college is number 15, which is to talk to as many friends, family members, counselors, etc. before making a final decision on your college. I feel like this was super helpful, especially talking to some people who are a grade above me that are currently in college, because I got to know their first year experience, what they enjoyed, what they didn't, and be able to use that knowledge to find a place in which I truly feel like I will fit in. This means also talk to your parents about what college they want you to go to, and please do take that into consideration because they technically have the power of the purse if they are actually funding your college education and stuff, so you probably want to save money and not go to USC. I'm sorry I had to say that, but what I'll leave you with is to remember that when deciding on a college, make sure to go to a college that you truly believe you belong and you fit into. Part 3, conquering senioritis. Tip number 1, make sure to find a hobby or interest that you want to try out. As in my case, I did varsity football my senior year just because I always wanted to have the opportunity to play high school football. And like senior year was my last chance and I had time, so I was able to sign up and be a part of my school's American football team. By doing so, I was able to avoid so much time from just lying in bed and doing nothing, and actually meeting some new friends I would normally never meet. Tip number 2, just a personal bias, but consider making some college decision reaction videos. It's because I had so much fun making my college decisions. I made like videos as I get my decisions, but feel free to compile all your college decision reactions, post them on the internet to share, so that way 10 years down the line, if the internet still exists, you'll be able to look back at it and just remember the times in the most accurate way possible, I guess. Tip number 3, spend time with as many different friends as you could. Personally, I wish I did that more, so if a friend comes into your mind, maybe just shoot them a message and then ask to hang out, do something fun together, talk about life, catch up if you guys haven't talked in a while. That's a great way to close out your high school year as you guys go to like different colleges, or heck, maybe even the same college, and then you get to talk to them more. Tip number 4, consider taking some weekend road trips with your friends. I wish I was able to just drive to a different city and hang out with my friends, but too bad I live in San Diego, so there's literally nowhere close to it. And like ride electric scooters across the shoreline. I feel like that was one of my most memorable things I did in senior year. But yeah, if possible and your parents allow you, definitely just consider taking a car and driving to a nearby city, hang out there, and like just exploring with your friends will be very fun in my opinion. And it's something I really wish I did my senior year, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Tip number 5, 99% of you guys won't do this, but definitely it really helps if you keep a consistent alarm schedule even on the weekends. Or in other words, wake up at the same time every single day, even on the weekends. By forcing yourself up, you're able to do so much more productive things in my opinion. And also by keeping a consistent sleep schedule, you're able to be more energized when you wake up, and hopefully you're able to live a more positive life because of it. Tip number 6, remember to always use a daily checklist and calendar. Normally when I use a checklist, I'll create a list of things I want to finish by the end of today, and I'll use a calendar in order to remind me of the progress if I have something to do in like a week or so. Plus after all, these two things are completely free these days, so definitely use it to your advantage and conquer your senioritis by making the best use of these. Tip number 7, a pretty crucial one, is that you must be able to catch yourself during unfocused times early. Something you can do is definitely set alarms throughout the day to remind yourself what you're supposed to be doing at that time, but this is really just a lot of self-willpower and like just always thinking about better things you can do than the things you are doing right now. So instead of scrolling on Instagram, maybe you could think about texting a meetup with like a friend you haven't seen in a while. Tip number 8, I would suggest you guys to defeat senioritis by getting a gym membership. Personally for me, I had a gym membership my 11th grade, but really I only started to go consistently to the gym my 12th grade year when I had time. And by going to the gym, I feel like it's a great way for me to de-stress, get some good exercise in, clear my mind, and heck, maybe just even listen to some new songs that came out. Number 9, I would suggest you guys to defeat senioritis by serving your community just for fun. That's what I did my senior year. When they asked me to log my hours, I didn't even bother logging them. I just wanted to volunteer to pass the time, which I'm actually very glad I did. But as for serving the community by doing community service, just know you're definitely helping out hundreds, if not thousands of people in your area that definitely really appreciate your work. And the final high school senior tip I want to leave for you guys right here. Number 10. Do every single high school event that you could possibly do. Go to homecoming if you haven't gone. Go to prom if you haven't gone. Go to a high school football game. Go to a high school basketball game. Go see like a theater show. Just do everything that your high school offers for social events. So it's your last year of high school. Make the most out of it. It couldn't be more true than that. You're only in high school for 4 years. So definitely make sure to make the most out of your high school experience. And that right there is 30 tips in order to help you guys survive your senior year of high school. I hope you guys enjoyed this tips and advice video. Feel free to leave a like if you found any part of this video helpful. Once again, let me know down in the comments below what you want to know about high school or heck, maybe even college. And subscribe. Join the Waddle Squad. Best squad in the nation, what can I say? Other than that, I want to wish you guys all a waddle-tastic day, and we'll see you guys in another video, I guess. Peace.